Hello, and welcome to On the Same Page. I am your host, Alexa. On this podcast, we can do a lot in 15 minutes, such as discuss our favourite books, give you, as the listener, our favourite recommendations in the genres we both like to read, and have a little debate that will be a nice conclusion to the episode.
And I'm your host, Amy, and I think we should start this episode by discussing our current reads.
Would you like to start, or do you want me to start?
I think you should start.
So my current read at the moment, it is Fade to Black by Adrian Kress. I have my Kindle on my table because that's what I'm reading it on. And it's about this girl called Rose who gets hired by the creator of Joey Drew Studios. He does these like bendy cartoons. It's obviously Bendy and the Ink Machine related because at the moment my hyperfixation on Bendy and the Ink Machine has been, it's like slapped me in the face. It's kind of, I don't know.
Pulled you in?
Yeah, in a way. It's like slapped me in the face and just said, I'm back. What are you going to do about it? Anyway, enough about my hyperfixation and my current read. What are you currently reading, Amy?
I'm currently reading If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. It's a murder mystery that follows these drama students in a really prestigious and large school. It's like Harry Potter.
Oh.
It's amazing.
What type of like book is it? Like, is it, what genre, I mean?
It's a mystery tied in with a bit of dark academia.
Oh.
It's a lot of fun.
It sounds it. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about buying, but as it's related to Bendy and the Ink Machine, you'll be able to tell that it is horror.
Yeah.
Which is, in a way, out of my comfort zone because the Bendy and the Ink Machine book, I got the first one back in, when was it, 2021? And I read that, and that was like the first horror book I've ever read. But I think these are like the only horror books I have read. But I have logged these in my reading journal. That shout out to you, Mercy. Shout out. Love you, Queen. But yeah, I've logged the previous two in my reading journal that Mercy gave me.
Wow.
But anyway, I hope you readers have had inspiration from me and Amy about what you would like to read next.
But if that isn't the case, we have a few more recommendations for you, so grab a notebook and pen and make sure to write these ones down.
I think you should start now by giving your book recommendations.
I recommend reading, give me a second.
She's got them written down on her phone because she couldn't think of any prior.
Yeah.
So she wrote them down, which is quite handy actually because, yeah.
My last read, which was honestly one of my favourite, was In Memoriam by Alice Wynne.
Oh!
It features two men who are about 18 who enter World War I prematurely. I think they were underage when they actually went, so about 16, 17.
A bunch of people did that, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's like a historical fiction.
Yeah, it follows a German boy who's living in England who joins early to protect his own family and is later followed by his friend into the war. It's very sad, very dramatic, very much enjoyed it.
You love your dramatic and sad books though, don't you?
Especially World War I.
Like you love to cry. Sorry to call you out, girl, but you love to cry. Have you got any more?
I do have a few. I was wondering if you would like to say one of yours first.
My recent read, as previously stated, was the Bendy and the Ink Machine books. I read what was it called? The Lost Ones, and it follows these three characters I did not know was prevalent to the plot of Bendy and the Ink Machine or anything. But basically, the one's rich, two of them are rich, and it's just them discovering that ink turns people evil in their world. And I do recommend the Bendy and the Ink Machine franchise heavily, not just the game, but the books as well, because it's been a hyperfixation of mine. Have you got any more?
Well, it wouldn't be one of my recommendations if I didn't mention the whole Bridgerton series
Of course, you
by
and your Jonathan Bailey.
Julia Quinn. Yes,
You and your Jonathan Bailey.
of
But
course.
even though it's Bridgerton, the show that Jonathan Bailey's in.
Yes, it's another historical fiction because that's a key theme with me.
Obviously.
But it's very enjoyable. Each book features a different Bridgerton sibling, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. If you love historical fiction, I
What
definitely
are the,
recommend it.
What are the Bridgerton brothers?
Well, you've got the first three brothers. You've got Anthony, Benedict, and then Colin. Then it's Daphne, Eloise, then Francesca, then it's Gregory, and then Hyacinth. They're all in alphabetical order by age. That's why it's so easy to remember them all.
Yep.
And I definitely recommend that one. There's a lot of drama. I don't know about...
I did point them out in Waterstones as well, to be fair, didn't I? When
Yeah.
I was in there yesterday.
Very
So
good
that's fun.
books.
Um,
Do you have any more? What about the Elsie Silver series?
Chestnut Springs, my
Mm.
God, do not.
So good.
I could honestly go on a rant about how much I love these books. And as previously shouted out, I've got my friend Mercy to want to read them. At first, when I spoke to her about it, she was a bit skeptical with it, and she was like, I don't know if I would like this. And I was just like, can you please just read it? I need to speak to someone about it. And she was like, okay, I'll read it after I've read Anna Huang's books, because what she's done is she's timed it perfectly. So basically what's happened is she's reading the Kings of Sin series at the moment, because the King of Envy comes out in a week, I think, next week or the week after. I'm not sure. Can't remember. But basically, she's reading them. But yeah, I've read them as well. But I recommend Elsie Silver more. I just love my cowboy romances. Yeehaw! Do you have any more recommendations?
I
or-
have another historical fiction, once again set in World War One. It's called The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden, and it's really good. It once again is set in the trenches, and it follows a woman who joins. I think she becomes one of the field nurses to find her brother, who has been lost in one of the trenches, who is trapped with, I think it's a German soldier,
Oh.
in one of the shell holes, which is very interesting. Following your horror recommendation, I recommend Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I think that's really good as well. And my final recommendation is the Apollo Ascending series by Nicole Bailey, because I love Apollo.
Yeah, you've got your bracelet on that I made you, haven't you?
Yeah,
It
I
says
do.
Apollo.
It says Apollo.
We'll have to put like a picture in or something.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Now that we've discussed our current reads and recommendations, I think it's time for a little debate.
I completely agree with you, Amy. Today, our topic is, does listening to an audiobook have the same impact as reading a physical book? What's your opinion on this, Amy?
I do not agree personally that it has the same impact, because I think the way we process sound compared to visually are two completely different things. Because when we're reading, we can take a moment to reflect, go at our own speed, and then evaluate ourselves and come up with our own conclusion. Whereas the way we listen to something, we haven't got that time to reflect on what we've just read. And the way someone might read it is different to how we might have interpreted it ourselves,
Yeah.
which can influence what we think of the book.
Yeah, to be fair, I do agree with you in a way, because as well, on top of that, you can like adjust the audiobook speed. I know, I have my Kindle synced with Audible. But thing is, you can adjust audiobooks to the speed. You can have it on 1.5, 1.25, yada yada yada. And I personally have it on 1.25 when I listen to audiobooks because I can be quite a fast reader. Obviously, we spoke about books before we've done this, and you've seen how fast I can read. Wild Side by Elsie Silver, I read within a day, even before I had the audiobook of it. But personally, yeah, I do agree. And I sent out a Microsoft Forms 2-3 weeks ago, I believe, asking your guys' opinions on it. And I have written down the best ones.
One person has said that they disagree and that they think audiobooks are easier to follow than reading physical copies, which I think shows the benefits of audiobooks because people with like dyslexia who might not enjoy reading don't get to experience books the same way because they're so focused on trying to read what they're reading.
Yeah.
Whereas by listening, it gives them that chance to also enjoy the magic of books.
Yeah, to be fair, I agree with that because personally, I do think I process audiobooks better, but I am quite a quick reader as well. So that could be downside to being a quick reader. You don't process things better. But another listener stated that yes and no, because listening to someone read can help understand how a line is said, but it doesn't entirely leave interpretation to the reader.
That's a really good point. Someone else who said no said, I think that reading a book and listening to it being read are two completely different things. Whilst you're still ingesting the story, they're completely different experiences. The impact is different for each method of taking in the story, which again, I think is similar to what we've already discussed.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And then the final one is I think this was Mercy that said this actually. I can't remember. But they said yes because they believe that if you're listening to the book instead of reading it might have the same effect because of the fact that you're still ingesting the story.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. But what do you think's better, audiobooks or physically reading them?
Well, as a more traditional reader who enjoys like just the average book, even a fan fiction, I tend to...
Of course you bring up fan fiction.
Well, obviously, reading is still reading. It doesn't matter the medium.
There's a screen, AO3 will be seen.
Exactly. So as a more traditional reader, I typically listen to music whilst reading because some studies have come out saying that...
You focus better, isn't it?
Exactly.
I know my brothers, they're quite frequent gamers, and my brother Caden specifically, he has Spotify on his Xbox.
Yeah.
So sometimes when he's playing FIFA, because of course it's FIFA, he listens to music whilst playing it.
Yeah.
I mean, he listens to drill, which I'm not going to share my opinions on drill, but basically he listens to music whilst he games because it helps him focus.
Yeah, there were some studies that came out, a few articles that I've been researching for my own FMP, which explores the impact of listening whilst reading on individuals with ADHD. And it's all about how stimulating one part of the brain helps someone read and focus more because every part is being impacted.
Yeah.
Because obviously with ADHD, you need that stimulus to keep you focused. So reading in the background really helps, and I find that it helps a lot. So I do think that reading with music is better than listening to an audiobook personally.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't listen to audiobooks often, so I do agree with that. Because, to be fair, when I got my Kindle a few years back, I thought with the Kindle Unlimited subscription, it would help me save money, and it does because most of my Kindle Unlimited, most of my reads have been on that. So I do prefer using my Kindle to read, whereas listening to an audiobook. Yes, it helps me read better, but sometimes as well, I get my Echo Dot to play the audiobook whilst I'm reading the physical or my Kindle copy, because you unfortunately can't do Audible and Kindle at the same time.
Can you not?
No, it's really sad.
See, whereas I think if you wanted to listen to an audiobook, people with auditory processing disorders, for example, would find it valuable to be able to read along whilst listening.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that is our 15 minutes up.
Yes, I believe so.
It was a fun discussion that we had, though, to be fair, even if it dragged on a bit because we was talking about personal things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, whether you were sat on your sofa watching it on your phone or your TV.
Or whether you were washing your dishes or folding your clothes away to put in your wardrobe. We thank you for joining our Bookish podcast on the same page.
We hope you have a nice rest of your day or evening or lunch if you was watching it whilst eating lunch. Bye.
Bye.